Man, oh man, oh man. All my West Coastians, y'all know I love y'all, bro. I love y'all so much. It's a lot of crazy things going on that side. Let's see how this billionaire couple stole California's water supply. This is going to be a movie, guys. This is going to be a movie. Let's go.
Californians suffer through unprecedented drought.
Let's see.
One billionaire couple owns a massive share of the state's water system, seized in a series of secretive meetings 2 decades ago. That system
of secretive meetings
was largely paid for by the very taxpayers whose water these billionaires hold hostage. Urban water systems are desperate for water, but in 2023, they'll receive just 5% of what they requested from the state. The Resnicks are the biggest farmers in California. As of 2007,
wait a second. Okay, why? I don't know what is it. Like, I know money really rules the world, but I don't know how someone could really have such a chokehold on such a natural resource. Like, we allow people to just take control of water? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, is it really that deep? What, like, okay, what do you need the water for?
For San Francisco's worth of farmland. And nearly half of Americans buy at least one of their products. Their pistachios.
Oh, I've eaten their pistachios before. I've had eaten their pistachios. We fight over land, why not water?
Their pomegranate juice, their mandarins, their flowers. It's all under one massive umbrella. The Wonderful Company.
I've heard of it. Anybody had anything from them?
Worth at least $5 billion.
About oil?
The majority owners, the Resnicks, are worth at least $8 billion. How were they?
No, okay. I think what's different with oil, right? Because it's like, okay, or how I describe it like this: oil is underground, right? Anybody could be walking on oil. You could be living under oil right now. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, that doesn't really affect you, and you don't even know or even have the resources to pump the said oil. You get what I mean? But water is essential to life. Like, oil, it has its properties and resources, but water, everybody needs water, from showering to drinking. Water is a basic human necessity: food, water, shelter, clothing. You get what I mean?
Able to take over.
So I don't know how someone, like, clothing is different because there's different levels of clothing, but food and water, those should be more of like, everybody should get at least a standard of that.
A large percentage of what should be a shared public resource. This is the classroom.
See, shared public resource. That's what I'm saying.
Today, we're looking at how the Resnicks got rich. Linda is a former child actress, the daughter of Jack Harris, a successful movie distributor of the 1950s, most well known for The Blob.
Starring Steve McQueen and a cast of exciting young people.
The Blob.
At 19, she founded her own advertising agency. Stewart was born to a middle-class New Jersey family and started his first business, a janitorial service, in grad school. He eventually acquired American Protection Services, a burglar alarm and security company.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, how did he get such American status? How did that happen? But he just realized I guess he bought the systems. This summer sounds like it's gonna be rough. I ain't gonna lie to you. If we're already having, okay, for anybody who lives on West Coast, when the fires do occur, right? Because it seems to be, it happens to y'all about once a year or once every 2 years. Do they ever happen in January? Do they ever happen in these colder times of the year? Like, I don't know how it works over on that side. Is this normal or no? Like, I know the fire spread of how it is, they occur in the winter. Okay.
Linda approached him about marketing services for the company, and they hit it off. Not knowing that one day they'd work together to take over California's water.
Wow.
The Lovebirds became business partners. They bought Teleflora, the flower delivery company, the Franklin Mint, purveyors of inane little tchotchkes. Linda was the marketing person, and Stewart was in charge of business. As Linda told the LA Times in 1993, "I've always said that Stewart and I together make one perfect person, like little salt and pepper shakers."
Okay.
In the late 80s, they found their primary industry, agriculture. They got into the pistachio business. Linda said, "We've done more for the pistachio than anyone ever since it was planted in the Garden of Eden."
Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you. Saying that you've done, like, saying, what's good, Fox? Saying in a sense that you have more stain and have done so much for a particular part, like, I don't know, this is just weird. Like, it's like saying, like, it's like if a man's saying, yo, I've done so much for people since, like, I've done so much for people since a prophet. Like, I don't feel like there should be any person, man, that could even remotely compare themselves to anything godly or biblically related. You see what I'm saying? This is just, I've done more for a certain plant than since God planted it. That sounds very weird to me. You see what I'm saying? It sounds like your ego was getting a little too high. That's very weird.
My husband should be canonized for all the work he's done. They started branching into other products. Almonds, pomegranates, citrus, wine, and acquiring more and more land to cover it, including some very important land in Kern County, which granted them water rights in the area. As the Resnicks were building their empire, the state of California was building new water infrastructure with taxpayer money.
Okay, that sounds good.
California's natural water supply is very inconsistent. Vastly differing amounts of rainfall means the state can go from surplus to drought and back very easily. So they build water banks to store water during surpluses to have during droughts.
Okay, makes sense.
One important storage facility is the Kern Water Bank, started in 1988. The facility was built with hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars, which could have been a good thing. The people of California would have...
This sounds perfect right now. And I know we have 5 more minutes left in the video, so it's going to take a very drastic turn. But this sounds pretty decent.
...owned the water. But there were 2 Californians thirstier than the rest, and they wanted more water. Linda and Stuart Resnick. Thirstier than the rest, and they wanted more water. Linda and Stuart Resnick.
So they wanted...
And they had a lot of political power. We'll get to that. In 1994, state water officials, water infrastructure contractors, and agricultural landowners with water rights arranged a secretive meeting at a resort in Monterey Bay, California. These groups, a mix of private companies and public agencies, rewrote California's water rules without any input from voters, taxpayers, or legislators.
That doesn't sound right. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. I don't know. I don't understand, or I don't really like the idea of all these other companies having stain in things that are for the public. You see what I'm saying? Especially on such a large scale. That's a little weird. I don't know like how the government could be like, okay, we can go ahead and let this billion-dollar corporation go ahead and run this. That's weird. Gatekeeping water. This is weird, bro. That's very odd. I don't know how to, like, because the thing is that it all funnels back to money. You know what I mean? Because it's like a certain political group could be funded by a certain company, and it's more of just like, hey, we'll give you so much money, and when we give you the money, our goal is that you, when you win, you'll kind of implement some of the things that we say because we helped you. And it's just like, oh, they're doing all of this, so it's like all of them can have a good gatekeeping of the water, so it cooks everybody else. It's very odd to me, bro. I don't like it.
The new rules, called the Monterey Plus Agreement or the Monterey Amendments, were devastating for working Californians and great for agriculture billionaires. The original code included urban preference, a long-standing rule that in times of drought, the state water board would give urban areas, where people live, access to water supplies before agricultural interests.
Okay.
Monterey axed that. That means that in times of drought, the water systems for normal Californians would have to buy water from private companies because...
Wait. I had a system before that when fires happen in an area that fires are prone to happen, okay, we will give out water to people in need, because at the end of the day, these water companies, these are tax-paid, tax-funded institutions, areas that are holding these water banks. That's what I'm saying. And all these people, these billionaire family, came together and said, screw it, we're not going to do that. So now the taxpayer funded thing that I pay for with my tax money to build these water banks that I would get in times that fire would happen, inevitably, now I have to pay to get the water that I spent my money to help build an infrastructure to make it happen. So, oh my gosh. And he changed helped the billionaire.
They weren't getting it from the state. The new agreement also loosened regulations on paper water. That's water that doesn't necessarily exist anywhere but on paper. The full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have. Today,
don't need to have full quantities of water that providers could have, but don't actually need to have.
5 times as much water has been promised and sold as actually exists. And importantly, the meeting changed ownership.
So are they pretty much, so they're pretty much selling things. They're pretty much selling stuff in times of need that would otherwise naturally be given out to people. That's weird.
Of the Kern Water Bank. What once belonged to the state was transferred to a few private water contractors, one of which was Westside Mutual, a wholly owned subsidiary of Wonderful Foods.
Where's Mutual?
The wonderful employee who runs Westside, Bill Phillimore, is the chairman of the public organization that manages the Kern Water Bank. Boom.
Oh, so
one
he's
secret
in
meeting,
on it too.
and the Resnicks owned nearly 60% of an important California water resource, built with hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's the taxpayer dollars is what's cooking me right now. How you gonna tell me your taxes is gonna be built for something that's gonna help y'all just for it to get turned around and you have to pay for something that you put money in? You know what I mean? It's like, why do I have to pay money to access my money? What?
The new ownership, combined with the rules on paper and surplus water, meant that during times of drought, the Resnicks could sell Kern water back to the state water systems. They took Californian taxpayers' water and sold it back to them, both literally as the water supply and also to grow expensive food like gourmet pistachios and pomegranate juice.
No way, you're cooked. So you're telling me that you're selling this water back to the Californians. And you know what makes it worse? These like you kind of have to buy it. You know what I mean? It's like you either buy the water, right? Or your entire livelihood gets burned down and you're less likely to rebuild it. Like, think about it like this. Imagine if you are a 50-year-old, you're a 50-year-old person and you are retired and you live you're above average, like you're above middle class, like you're like upper middle class kind of, right? You live in a decent neighborhood, like you can go on vacations every now and then, you have okay money. But you got to think about it like, if a fire were to take down your house, you're now going back to like your bottom class. You know what I mean? You're considerably poor now. You can't just get back up. You can't rise back in the ranks. That house that you bought years ago, you thought was going to be your final home, your forever home. And now you're either forced to spend excess money that you don't really have to buy water to save the little that you do have, or are you just cooked? Because if that burns down and you're 50 years old, you're done. You can't just get that back. Especially saying if you have State Farm and your insurance got cooked. What?
They converted the people.
Me personally, right? In all these places in LA, Florida, parts of Texas, all those places that are prone to natural disasters, I do not think it's fair that there should be a level of insurance. That doesn't make any sense to me because it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? That's money farming. You're literally creating an XP glitch. XP farms. Why are we doing that on people? You see the dilemma here? What do you like? I get it. I get what you gain. You're getting like an infinite money farm, but at the same time, these people, it's gonna happen. A tornado's gonna hit this year. There's gonna be a what's it called? What happens in hurricane? There's gonna be a hurricane that's gonna knock some houses down and that's gonna hurt a lot of people and ruin their lives. It's gonna happen the next couple of years. It always happens every couple of years. So for you to be playing flood insurance and all this kind of stuff, it's like, wouldn't it just be smarter for people to just pay higher taxes? Like, I'm asking, you see what I'm saying? Wouldn't it be smarter for people to pay just a little bit higher taxes so that in the event that all this bad stuff happens, it's not everybody has to pay out of their own pocket for their own house, but it's more of just like the city or the state has to kind of fund that area. You know what I mean? Because imagine, suppose you're in Texas, right? And we'll say West Texas doesn't get hit by hurricanes at all. Never. They never get flooded, anything like that. But East Texas, they always get hit. So wouldn't it be smarter for the people on the West side, right, to like end up donate? Because you're all the same state. You see what I'm saying? I feel like that's a little too individualistic. You get what I'm saying? There should be no reason that if we all live in the same state, if I live in a house, right, in a neighborhood, and my neighbor's house gets absolutely destroyed, I feel like there should be a system that, or the homeowner association should be able to prioritize getting off of my ass and help building their house. Go watch my stream, Kid Absolute. Show me some love. Okay, I don't know what y'all doing. Yo, who is adding all these? Yo, Tall, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you trying to do?
Water into products many can't afford.
This is weird,
and
bro.
that's just one water bank. The Resnicks also have control of other water boards and have been sued for directing more water towards their properties.
What? Oh, more water to your properties, more you can grow pistachios. Wow, they're
So how do they get away with this Chinatown-level chicanery?
Gonna be a lot of irate citizens when they find out that they're paying for water that they're not gonna get.
With philanthropy.
Oh, so they so they give away to cover up for the fact that they're still scamming you. All right.
Donate millions of dollars to politicians and research institutions, which help them secure control over water systems, and even get more water and more taxpayer funding. One important project is the proposed California Delta Tunnel, a taxpayer-funded project which would send water from Northern California to Central, where the Resnicks farms are. They've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on state and federal legislation and politicians who support.
Oh, so they're buying their way. They're pretty much talking to the politicians, trying to corrupt them to the core, and for them to switch up what they had, and so they can just give them money.
Tunnel project,
or allow them to pretty much like, I guess that's how you do it. That's how some of these companies end up becoming part of the government, because if you end up funding a candidate so much, you know what I mean? Because it's expensive to run these campaigns. It's not cheap. It is not cheap. That's why you only see all these mega millionaire billionaires running for president and all, you know what I mean? It's not a cheap thing to do. It's all about money.
But their favorite politician is Senator Dianne Feinstein.
You come in here and you say it has to be my way or the highway.
Chair of the Energy and Water Subcommittee. She's a close personal friend of the Resnicks, attending their holiday parties in Aspen and maintaining their financial interests.
Aspen.
A quick look through the bills she sponsored shows several which would direct money to current
Energy and Water Development and Related Agencies Appropriation Act 2023.
adjacent water projects. The Resnicks even ask her for things directly. When a pesky study about endangered
After donors' letter, Senator Feinstein supports studies that could delay fish protection plan. So focus on the water, screw the fish.
salmon and shad.
It's like, that's the problem, bro. Like now I understand. Remember when you were in school, or I guess y'all are all still in school. When you're in school and you have you group up with all your friends and the teacher separates y'all because she knows that you and your friends are OP. You know, she knows when you and your friends get together, it's going to be an OP situation. She has to make it even. You know what I mean? Because imagine you and all of the guys, you and the four of y'all, bro. And then you got four randoms that don't really know each other, don't hang out, all the quiet kids. That's unfair. Y'all are overpowering them in anything, bro.
Fisheries threatened the Delta.
Now I see why they call it, you know what I'm saying? Level the playing
Stewart
field.
wrote a letter to Feinstein demanding a new study. She immediately forwarded.
People are so greedy. Why do you need billions? Billions a family of 5 could live in the most comfort house, yearly income at least 10 million. One thing that I want to let y'all know when it comes to money is this. Yo, Tall, just let it be. Just let it be. Just let it be. I don't know what you're doing, but just let it be. I think this is it, right? What I've learned is that when it comes to money, a lot of money, guys, is not physical. You see what I'm saying? A lot of money is not physical. A lot of money is in investments. Y'all gotta remember that when it comes to money. So when you see all these billionaires and stuff, it's mostly because they have that stuff in investment, not in physical cash or in their bank account. You know what I mean?
Forwarded it to the Obama administration.
I think the only problem is when you have influence. Because there are some people that got money but got no stain. But there are people that got stain but are pretty broke.
Who agreed to spend $750,000 on a new
Obama
study.
Foundation, okay.
It returned the same results as the first one.
Okay, so they funded their own study. Okay, all right. I'd expect you to get the same results. Oh, wow.
Can't buy science.
Wow.
But the Resnicks have tried. They are among the top donors to the University of California system, with their donations focusing on agricultural and ecological studies. The Resnicks have basically bought entire departments who put out studies on how water systems should be managed and where funding should go. That leads to even more federal and state taxpayer dollars being used to fix up what the Resnicks profit off of. This is all bad for California, even in a capitalistic sense. Agriculture uses 80% of California's water, but only represents 2% of its GDP. The Resnick's water monopoly is just one way their quest for wealth hurts the rest of us. They allegedly lobby for increased tensions with Iran to keep embargoes on superior Iranian.
Okay, so you want us to keep war going on. Okay, keep war going on so we can continue what we have going on here so people can focus. Oh, wow. Yo, that's the problem, guys. Yo, I was sitting there. If anybody's ever seen my Squid Games reactions, I definitely recommend you tap into those. Yo, I really sit there and I think about it. When you see the Squid Games and you see how crazy and corrupt it is, and you see how levels of the corruption it is, you sit there and think about it. How do you stop it? How do you stop it? You know what I'm saying? When you see corruption like this, how do you stop it? You know what I mean? I don't think you do. You just got to let it be. And as sad and as horrible and sad as that is, what can a regular person do? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's too big. It's too big of a problem. Because if you take one person out, they still know somebody else. You know what I mean? Or because it's like, you got to think of it like this. The Rednicks or the Rydnicks or the Saridnicks, I don't know. These billionaire families, suppose they get cooked. Suppose they step down, right? Another family will just do the same thing. Another billionaire family will just do the same thing. I feel like it may just have to be like, I hate the rich too. No, I don't hate the rich. The problem is that there's a lot of rich people that are corrupt. You know what I mean? And that also goes back to that you can't put all of your faith and you can't expect all of your life in money. You know what I mean? That's how people go to hell. That's why people say like it's easier for a poor man to go to heaven than a rich man to go through or a camel to go through an eye of a needle. Some along the lines of that. You see what I'm saying? Where it's harder for rich people to go to heaven than it is for a poor man. Because the rich people, they idolize their money. They make money their everything, you know? And then that's how they lead into corruption. They get into the worldly process and start doing all these worldly things, and then they get cooked. You know what I mean?
Pistachios. They're giant crops
sad,
to monocultures which kill important pollinators. They
Wow.
siphon taxpayer
Killing
dollars
bees?
into the company town charter schools they own, set up to train children to work for their farms. And
You're spawn camping the jits. Wow. We're spawn camping the jits. So you're telling me that all the money that y'all had, that y'all making, y'all are killing the bees that are the major pollinators. We need the bees. Then afterwards, all the money that you're making, you're sending that money over to charter schools that you own that are to fund more people to work your farms. So you always have farms. You always have people to work your farms, and you always have production because you own the water, and you own the water current.
And of course, like any company of this size, they exploit their workers. We need to treat water for what it is,
Let
a
me have
necessary
some-
public
You're
resource, a human right, and something that shouldn't be owned by anyone.
I
And
agree.
work towards legislative change that stops people like the Resnicks from stealing it. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
That's deep, bro. That's the problem, bro. When you see all of these big problems in the world, you have to sit there and realize, time me out, bro wants to get sniped. The problem is like, you sit there and realize that it's like, bro, some Mad Max, exactly, bro. Are we on some Dune activity where we're gonna start making water cost money, like water is life? You know what I mean? This is horrible, bro. That's why it's like, I don't know, bro. I feel bad for like, if I'm assuming that some people out there are middle class. People who are middle class, you're cooked, bro. All the middle class people out there, it's like y'all are the fallback man. When all bad stuff happen, it falls on the middle class. Because y'all are the thing about being a middle class is you're the what's it called? You know when your parents say go to school, make good grades, do everything fair, do everything right, you were the one that followed the rules. And you got cooked for following the rules. You see what I'm saying? You got cooked for following the rules and doing what was right. And it's sad, bro. Mr. O'Hare type deal. I don't know who Mr. O'Hare is. I'm gonna be honest with you. Pretty soon we be paying for air. Hey, bro. The day we pay for air, bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. What country we moving to, bro? Where we streaming from? What country? Tell me right now, guys. What country we moving to? Look them up. What country we streaming at? Yo, also, if y'all enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, kiddabsolute. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Peace.